You know what time it is. It is cooking time. So I'm doing another video for you guys. I'm going to show you how we make chicken fried steak. Now where you're from, it might be called country fried steak. I don't even know why it would be called chicken fried steak, to be honest with you, because it is cube steak. Either way, it is still delicious. I don't care what you call it, it is still fantastic. So I'm going to show you guys how I make that. So if you want to see how to do it, then keep watching. Okay, for the recipe, you're going to need cube steak. I have 8 of these little bitty cube steaks right here. You are going to need 2 packets of gravy mix, or if you're daring and brave enough, you can make your own. You are going to need 2 eggs, and you are going to need milk. Now, as for seasoning options, you are going to need some salt, pepper, seasoned salt, cayenne pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. And you can add in whatever else you think that you need to make it taste better. Also, you are going to need some oil. I'm going to use some vegetable oil. Now, if you're looking for ideas to pair the meal with, we are going to have some mashed potatoes, some mixed vegetables, and some rolls. That gravy is going to go over so well on those potatoes and that country fried steak. Okay, so I always assume that everybody has flour and sugar and things like that in their cabinet. So what I've done here is I have just put a good amount of flour in this flat surface bowl. I have put our 2 eggs and about half a cup to a cup of milk. So I'm going to throw in some of the seasonings here in the milk and the egg mixture. I'm going to say about a teaspoon of garlic powder. Let's just go with a teaspoon of everything for now, because we don't want to get too carried away, because I do like to season the meat before I put it into the dredge. So, and I'm going to go lightly on the cayenne pepper, so just a couple of sprinkles of that, okay? And then you want to also go lightly on the seasoned salt and the salt. Just a couple of sprinkles of that. I like my little pepper grinder. I did not know that they made little pepper grinders like this, but there's peppercorn on one side and salt in the other. Did not know that. Totally checked that out the other day. I should have bought it. A little bit of salt. Like I said, don't go too crazy with it, because you are going to season the meat. But let's go ahead and whisk that mixture together. Put it in a deep enough bowl here. Yes, totally rocking the big old bowl, but that way it gets nice and covered. Sometimes if you put it in too shallow of a dish, you have a problem with it all getting covered. Okay, so you want to mix that together. It's going to look really pretty, like so. Now, let's put it over there. Like I said, I want to season the meat, so we're going to go ahead and pop the caps on anything that we need to. That way we don't touch the meat and then transfer that to our stuff here. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to get these apart. They're not very big. As you can see, these are the right amount of size for, I think, everybody. So, for a good meal anyways. Sprinkle the front, sprinkle the back. Now, very lightly with the cayenne, because that, it'll burn. Too much of that, woo-wee. And then a little bit of salt. Okay. Now, the pepper, I'll skip that just because I don't feel like touching the pepper grinder with my meat hand. So I'm going to show you guys on one, so you don't have to watch me do every single one of these. I'm going to show you guys on one what to do. So you're going to take your seasoned meat, go ahead and dip it in your egg mixture, get it nice and coated, and I was right, this is the perfect size bowl. Now drag your flour mixture over here, put it in there. Now I usually try to leave one hand dry, but I did not do that this time, so we're just going to go ahead and sprinkle it on top. I try to keep one wet and one dry. That way I don't get that like weird gunky mess on there, but didn't do it this time. It's funny how you never follow directions when people are watching you. I'm a wild child. I live on danger. Okay, so dust it off just a little bit, and then we're going to put it back in that egg mixture. Yep, we're ducking it twice. Oh yeah. Pull it out. I like to grab a handful of flour, lay it in there, and then sprinkle it on top, grab from the sides, and continue to do that. Just cover all that wet mixture up. Kind of pat it once you have a good amount of flour on top. Kind of pat it down a little bit. That way the flour will stick to the bottom and get all that wet coated and kind of mashed in between all those little lines and stuff. So go ahead and get that really nice and coated. And like I said, just keep mashing it a little bit. And then once you think it is really good and coated, go ahead and take it, shake it off just a little bit. Not too much because you don't want to knock your flour off. We're going to go ahead and lay it over here on a pan. And then we're going to do the rest of them the exact same way. So I'm going to do the rest of these, and then I'll be back to show you guys what we do next. Okay, so we are ready to start cooking. Alright, so I've got my oil right here heated up. I do recommend saving some of the flour that you toss these in, just in case some of them have some wet spots from sitting. You can go ahead and sprinkle a little bit more of that flour on them just to make sure that it's all nice and coated. Because I see a few right now that look like they need just a little bit of help. So we're just going to put a little bit there. I've got my heat on medium-high heat. I'm going to keep sprinkling a little bit of flour in here until it starts to sizzle, and then we're going to start putting our steaks in here. I'm only going to cook about 2 at a time. That way there's plenty of space and they don't get overcrowded and they don't stick together, and you get that nice crunchy outside. Alright, so I see that little bit of fizzle, so we're going to go ahead and start cooking. Let's move this little pan. You'll want to make sure that you put them on a pan lined with paper towels to drain off the excess grease. So I'm just taking them and flopping them in that flour just a little bit more on the back side to make sure that it's not wet and covered and stuff. Sometimes when they do sit, it does happen that way. And don't worry about if when you are putting flour on these, if for some reason they fall apart. That is perfectly okay. It happens to the best of us. I usually just take that one and make little bite-sized steak fingers for the baby. That is what happened with one of these, so I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, just use it. Use it to your advantage. Or while you're waiting, you can always nibble on it. Have yourself a little snack while you're waiting for dinner. Because Lord knows I'm starving. My husband is starving. He said, baby, when's dinner going to be ready? I'm hungry. So, that's what we're doing. So, we're putting them in there. And we're just going to let each side fry up. And when it gets a nice golden color and then crisp on that side, we're going to flip them and just cook it through just like that. And then when we're done, we're just going to drain them on a sheet pan with a paper towel. Easy as that. So I'm not going to make you guys watch the whole cooking process because that would be just a very long video. I also have my potatoes cut up back here in some water, boiling my mixed vegetables. If you guys want to know how I make my potatoes, I have a video on my secret ingredient for my mashed potatoes, so feel free to check that out too. Okay, so I have flipped these once. Don't worry if you flip them over back and forth a couple of times. That's perfectly fine. Some people like to just let them sit on one side and cook and then flip it over and all that. I like to make sure that it doesn't burn, so I like to kind of flop it back and forth from side to side. I do that to my fried chicken as well, so you can do that just to make sure there's an even cook. It probably takes about 5 minutes for this to cook. So if you're cooking about 3 pieces, judging that they're small pieces, it takes about 5 to 7 minutes. So just make sure they're nice and done inside, nice and crispy. You want to get a nice little crisp on the outside. And just kind of keep moving them around. I like to move them in different positions in the skillet because I find that it doesn't matter if it's a cast iron skillet or not. The heat seems to dispute. I can't even talk. Alright, let me just dumb this down for you because I'm trying to say much stuff. Sometimes it gets hotter on one side than the other. So one piece of, like, say, the chicken or a pork chop or even your steak will get done faster than the other one. So I like to kind of just move them around kind of in the circular motion just to make sure that each of them get an equal amount of heat. I'm going to go ahead and keep cooking these up. Wait for my potatoes to come to a boil. And I will be back to show you guys what we have when we're done. Okay, now with the gravy, all you're going to do is follow the directions that are wrote on the back of the package. So I've mixed two, like I said, because we're having potatoes and then we also have the country fried steak. So just follow the directions on the back. If you are brave enough to make your own gravy, feel free to do that. But if not, they have these at Walmart. And they're pretty cheap and they're really, really good. I always add a little bit of extra seasoning to mine. So you can do that as well if you'd like. Totally optional though. Okay, and this is it. So I've smothered it in my country gravy. Doesn't that look delicious? And we have our rolls all nice and buttered up. You guys can pair this with corn or anything else that you feel it needs. But this is what we have paired ours with. So that is it. Okay guys, that is it. Like I said, you can call it chicken fried steak, country steak, cube steak, whatever your heart desires, you can call it that. It was really easy to make, and yes, it is a little fattening, frying it in oil and everything, but either way, pair it with a side of vegetables, potatoes, you are good to go. So I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also check out my other videos. I have some trying to conceive vlogs if you guys are interested in that. I also have daily vlogs with my family. I have some beauty related things, so check all of those out. I will see you guys in my next video. Oh, one more thing. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram because my new Disney series, this video is coming up here very soon, and I will be having some hints to what the video is on the Instagram, so don't forget to check that out. Alright, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!